Okay, now that we've broken down what we're going to be aligning, now we're going to get to it. So the cool thing is we'll go from the ground up, and then we'll go down, and then we'll go up, and then we'll go down, and then you're done. That's it. And whoever didn't get a copy of my book, the SpineCheckersManifesto.com, just kidding, we'll get you a copy of the book. So everyone stand, levántate. Cool. So check in with your feet. And you can kind of like rock on the toes. Dr. Mike, the director, in the back, pushing me backwards. So you can rock kind of like on your heels and rock on your toes. So finding the sweet spot. Yeah, you were rocking. Find like the middle ground. So I want you to lift up all of your toes, and you're going to feel those 3 points that we were talking about. Okay, so you have the back of the heel, right underneath the big toe, right underneath the little toe, triangle. Cool. Keeping all of the toes lifted. Yeah, you're going to drop all of the toes except the big toe. So the big toe is the only one that's lifting. So lift up the big toe if humanly possible and release all of the other toes. Then release the big toe down and lift up all of the other toes. Ah, yeah. Okay, cool. And then lift up all of the toes, splay them. Now you can feel how you've created a nice little arch in the foot. A lot of people have flat feet. This is how you can rebuild your arches. You have to work them. So now all the toes are up. Keeping the lift of the arches in your feet, just drop the toes down. See if you can align your shin bone, your tibia, right on top of that one talus, that talus bone. And you may feel you'll probably have to put a slight bend in the knees to get that effect. Yep. Okay, so then check in with the knees, lock them. See how that feels, and probably brings your weight a little bit back, maybe a little bit more onto your heels. Activate the feet, put a slight bend, and see how that shifts the center position of your feet. Cool. With your lower back, I want you to put kind of like a nice arch into it, kind of like you just got shot in the back with a paintball or a cannonball. Okay, that's like this is a little bit of an over-exaggeration. So what we want to do is take a point right below your belly button, about an inch, and just bring it inward. So it's like you're checking a tomato, if you will, the ripeness of a tomato. So that's going to solidify, move the front toward the back to support this curve that you just created. Next, to make sure that your ribs aren't still jutting, these guys right here, you're going to contract the upper abdominals like you're doing a sit-up. So what we've done is we've set a curve in our low back, and now we're going to fine-tune it right below the belly button, draws in just a little bit while keeping that curve to make sure that the ribs here aren't jutting. You're going to do kind of like a crunch. So there's going to be all of these counteractions going on. So we have the feet, we have the knees. I like to think of the belt buckle kind of like a light, just to give you another reference point. Is it shining down or is it shining up? So you want to get your belt buckle kind of like a headlight shining straight ahead. So you put a curve in your low back, right below the belly button draws in, and then the upper ribs come into. Next, we're on our sternum. Sternum lifts up. It's kind of like if somebody took a soccer ball and threw it to you. You know, you would trap it right on your chest and then shoot and score. So you have the curve. You've done the boom, boom, heart open, making sure you're not going too open. That's where the muscular contraction, boom and boom come into play. Now we're gonna connect our clavicles from the center, draw it out wide. It also helps to, for me, to take your hands in this position, kind of like you're holding two pizza pies in your hand. So can you see how that opens up the heart? You can take a nice deep breath. Yeah, so this is just something so easy you can do. If you do this on the street, people will look at you a little bit strange, or at Whole Foods. Yep, it's fine. Laughter is great. All right, so now you're gonna release your hands. Now this is where things are gonna get wild. So you have the feet, you have the knees, you have the curve, you have the belly button, you have the ribs, you have the heart, you have the clavicle. You're gonna set the skull on your spine by doing a very subtle funky chicken, and then extension, and then repositioning the skull on your spine, on your first vertebrae, by just gliding it back. So this exercise is best done sometimes by holding your neck and doing a funky chicken, and you can really isolate that skull first vertebrae movement. And I love doing the funky chicken every day, like a lot, because I want to make sure that the area where my brain and my spinal cord come together, the brain-body connection, is free of interference. All right, so cool. So yeah, the funky chicken, you bring your neck into some extension, and then you lightly glide it back, boom, and then you're set. And then you can plug into that sella turcica, the Turkish saddle. Then you can plug into the front part of that T6, T7. Then you can plug into that front part of your sacrum. And then that's when the cool stuff happens.